Hey guys, welcome back to Rail Chief 74 today here on the channel, and welcome back to layout update number 24 for today's video series. As always, my name is Mike. I'm joined with my little buddy Ozzy today, who's laying in the corner relaxing, and we definitely have a lot to cover when it comes to today's layout update. And I did add a lot of stuff since the last time I ever made a layout update on this particular series. So let's not waste any more time in getting on with the show today. So as always, sit back and relax, and I hope you guys will enjoy. All right, so since we're here to talk about layout progress, I might as well go ahead and show you guys what's been going on with the bridge here over on the trolley section of the layout. Right up top here, I have the little cutout bridge section that I made out of cardboard, and for the sidings I'm currently just using very thick craft foam for the meantime, and I also painted it black, which means I'm going to be repainting it again with a much darker color. And right down here I have these homemade trestle sections that I made out of wood. Now currently it's still a little bit on the wobbly side, but in order for me to keep the trestles in place, I had to hot glue them to the foam here, because the layout is, as we all know, it's sitting on top of pink styrofoam, which I painted and customized and added some scenery and some gravel here and there. So the glue really does hold the trestles very nicely to the layout. And also, as a extra precaution, I had to screw in the bridge into the trestle sections here, so you're not going to see a whole lot of wobbling here, but you are going to notice that there is a little bit of a jerk once the trolley starts to hit the bumper section, and that bumper section still needs to be kind of screwed in. But anyway, as I was saying, everything else that's on the upper section here is working tremendously, so I'm not really having any issues with it so far. But like I said, the only thing I just have to do is to repaint the top part of the bridge here like a brownish color. I also need to secure the track section here. Let me start that again. I have to secure this track section in a little bit better, and hopefully down the road I can replace this craft foam with something a little bit better, like something from Scenic Express, which I'm currently thinking about doing. But this is more or less a wait and see type of situation with this part of the layout here. Real quickly, on this side of the layout where the factory is, we do have the little crew figures at work. Now, originally they weren't glued down like I wanted to in the first place, and whenever I accidentally bump into the table, the figures would start going haywire and start falling all over the place. So that was the main reason why I wanted to glue them. But as a bonus, I did a little work on the factory when it comes to this under section of the roof here. And now when you turn on the power, we get some really realistic LED lights underneath. And this section of the roof here had a little piece broken off. So there was a little opening in the center, and that gave me access to add a little LED light and glue it underneath. And then I thread the wire through the opening of the building here. And the wiring goes all the way down underneath the table and connects to the other wires that are connected to the rest of the layout. But I will share with you guys some more information on that in a future video. But anywho, let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the layout here. So right over here on the main layout, I've installed the Woodland Scenics roadbed to the underside of the track. Now, this is still the Atlas track that I've been using for a while, and I've been more than happy with the results and the operations of this track in particular. And before, when I was running the trains, before the track bed was ever installed, whenever I would put my ear up to the train table while the trains were running, it would be so noisy that it would sound like a heavy thunderstorm. Now that the roadbed has been installed, completely installed on the layout, it's almost like being at the beach and listening to the water waves come into the tide. So the operations are a lot better than what they were originally, and I also did have to replace some of the old wiring here so that way it's not as visible. So if I ever send in a picture to one of the train magazines, I want to make sure that the wiring and the track work is sophisticated and also efficient at the same time. Moving along back here, I'm pretty sure that you guys recognize this bad boy by now, but this is the MPC reproduction of the Lionel 262 crossing gate from 1962, but this one is from the early 1970s. Now, originally in my last video, I mentioned how the mechanism wasn't necessarily working properly, and life's kind of funny, you know, because when I was looking at the underside of the mechanism, I noticed that there was a loose wire underneath, so I went ahead and reattached that. And so now, when the train goes over the insulated block, the signal works perfectly. And yet the gate is somewhat of a quarter of a halfway down, but that doesn't really bother me as much. And if I could just remove the camera from the tripod here, I'm going to be connecting the lights to this little electronic device that I have to control the lighting of the signal, so that way the lights will blink realistically. Now, it's still a little bit of a work in progress, but I do thankfully have the instruction manual, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, I should be able to have the signal functioning properly with the blinking light mechanism working. Very quickly over here, we do have the parking lot for the plastic-built church that I have in the corner right where the backdrop is here. Now, I did painted the sidewalk or the parking lot here, and I also added a couple of lines with a paint marker, and I also added a couple of figures here. And the last thing that I want to share with you all today is this tree in the corner, which is, of course, once again made by Woodland Scenics. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Mike, what's so special about this tree in the corner here? Well, I have it attached to some fishing line here, and my inspiration for this project came from the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, because if you guys remember, on that layout, there was a automatic operating or animatronic falling tree on their layout, and when you press the button on the side of the layout, the tree would start to fall down, and the lumberjack would yell timber. And here's what I got so far. Now, the center of the tree is somewhat spring-loaded, so it will come back up just very slowly. But right now, I just have it attached to some fishing line, and now I'm trying to find a way to add a little spring tension to the fishing line, so that way I don't have to keep pulling it every time with my bare hands in order for the tree to come down. So it's still a little bit of a work in progress, and the reason why I chose fishing line is because it's not only is it very strong, but you can barely see it from a distance away, and there is a little hole in the center here where the fishing line goes through, and I currently have a couple of bushes in the front here hiding that hole as we speak. All right, well, if you guys thought that today's layout update was good, wait until you see layout update 25, and that's going to be a huge surprise to everybody, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. So as always, my name is Mike. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell down below for any other projects that I upload. But until next time, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all on the next video.